Hi, I'm Tealish, and you're watching Coffee and Clix. I hope you enjoy my content, and if you do, you should smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. And don't forget to follow the link tree in the description of this video in order to be redirected into my various media outlets like Facebook, Discord, and Patreon. So that's found in the description of this video. You should go check it out. I hope you're enjoying your day, and I hope you enjoy today's episode of Coffee and Clix. Don't forget, wake up and smell the clicks. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Tealish, and you're watching Coffee and Clix. Today we are joined by well, they need no introduction, but we're joined by Dave Cologne, aka Mr. CliXso, and Devon Adams, aka Mr. HLH, Happy Little Heroclix. And I'm Tealish, as I mentioned. You're watching Coffee and Clix. Today we're going to be doing a set review of House of X. So super excited about that. And our grading scale for this, it was actually a little bit confusing, but my grading scale for the set review is going to be based on coffees. It's espresso would be the super meta competitive type pieces, or maybe not super meta, but something that seems competitive. Americano is something that may be competitive. Cappuccino is something that's more geared towards casual or sealed, but it's still tasty. A latte is all froth but no bite. And then the probably the worst pieces, the garbage pieces, are herbal teas. They put you to sleep. So I mean, let's just jump right in. So all right, let's just
Thank you for allowing us to be on here. It's awesome.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's great to collab again.
yeah, I'm super excited for this collaboration. It's going to be a lot of fun. Um, let's jump right in and talk about the House of X set. So we're going to look at Rachel Gray first, set number 001. She has Force Blast, Telekinesis, Super Senses, and Enhancement. She's 40 points with six range. What do you guys think about this piece? So Dave, what do you think?
We'll have
Yeah, you
me.
can go first.
For
Yeah.
me, honestly, I like the fact that it's 40 points for one. For you have telekinesis as well as enhancement. A lot of things now for 40 points is pretty solid for enhancement. I do like the force blast, but other than that, the most part on this one is going to be telekinesis and enhancement at 40 points. Do I see this going to be played a lot? Probably as not as much.Maybe on sealed, which I'm going to lead to the cappuccino side for me.
Okay, and you, Devin?
Okay, I gotta pull up the. I'm gonna leave my notes up of what the coffees are at. All right, so this is one I've opened, and I'm gonna have the same opinion on a lot of the commons and rares, where they aren't great when you're not playing a theme team, but they're also dependent on they fill a specific role based on the keywords. WizKids was very generous on the keywords handed out in this set, so they'll fit in specific theme teams you want to play. So for Rachel Gray, for example, I imagine going forward she'll be your telekinesis taxi piece for Excalibur, for example. Another thing to keep in mind with a lot of these commons and rares, just like Justice League, a lot of it is really dependent on what the team up card is. Uh, and I'm on HC Rum's Clix Nexus list the team up card before I continue. I'll switch over if so.
Clix Nexus has some of the team up cards. Yes, they do.
But we don't know. Do we know all of them? I don't know.
Let me take a look. No, we do
That's
not
another
know.
thing.
We do not know
Yeah.
all of them. We don't know. We only know what's been previewed so far. I don't think Rachel Gray's been
Okay.
previewed her team up cards.
Yeah, I don't think I got one. That's another tricky scenario reviewing it as is right now, but we can give our takes on just the figure itself. But yeah, a lot of these will depend on like what the team ups do and what's required there. So example, she might have like an Excalibur one that makes her even better. But my review at the base level for these, not knowing team ups, again, it's God, latte. uh, yeah, I mean, she'll fill the role if I'm playing an Excalibur or Starjammers or Team or whatever, but out just for a common, it's not the best.
Yeah, I don't think for a common she's that great either. I mean, I would put her at a latte as well. I
Mm.
totally agree with you. I mean, this can be used in sealed as like a taxi or a tie-up piece, maybe with some TK, um, and that's about it. You know, we don't know what the team ups. A lot of team ups are. We also, I think, we're missing one super rare from the set, but we
Mm.
have the rest of the set completed, other than the team ups. So, you know,
Okay.
but yeah. So I mean, I think that's my opinion of Rachel Gray, not Rachel Ray. um, so let's move on to number two. Number two is Forge. Um,
Mm.
Forge set number 002. He comes in at 60 points. He has sidestep, Pensai with 11 attack, 17 defensive toughness, 3 damage with a special. His special is, well, he's got a trait, the Mutant CIA, which is stealth, improved movement hindering, and improved targeting hindering, which we'll see a lot of in this set. He also has a damage power Technopath, Perplex when Forge uses it to target another character that shares 2 or more keywords. He may modify the chosen value, accept damage +2 instead. So,
Mm.
I mean, my opinion on him was that maybe he was a cappuccino, that he would be good in sealed. Um, I mean, Perplex is always good. He's got enhancement, potential for 4 damage with Pensai and the sidestepped, and he does have that mutant CIA trait, which is a great ability. So I was thinking he would be pretty decent and sealed for 60 points. What do you guys think?
What's my take? Sorry, you cut off right at the last second.
So yeah, so what do you think, Devon?
Okay. I was jumping right into the comments. I like him in sealed a lot because the set is all X-Men, and to hit that special perplex for the +2 where you need two, use the target that shares 2 or more keywords, right? That's going to happen in sealed. So he's like 5-star if you need perplex. If you're playing sealed or just casual X-Men games, he'll be your go-to. Um, where it's a weird or Heroclix is always in a weird position when you talk like what's casual, good for sealed, what's your casual weekday night clicks, and then what's meta, because what's meta is usually the offset of like it breaks almost all the rules, right? And that's not going to be a lot of what we're talking about today. But for your weekly uh, comic book store night games and you want to play X-Men or your at-home games, right? Because this COVID year, he's pretty good. I'd throw him on most X-Men teams because you're gonna hit that special perplex somehow. At least when you're team building in constructed, plan to at least do that on one specific figure and have them tag along with each other the whole time.
Dave, do you concur with
Yeah, most
Devon?
definitely. 60 points,
Mm.
solid figure for a common. Not only that, you get 11 attack and 3 damage. The only thing that's gonna be hit and miss is gonna be that sidestep. He does have 6 range single bolt. He's not really mobile as much as I would like him to be, but again, like Devin was saying, that in a casual or even sealed, this guy will see a lot of play. Because yes, you need 2 or more, but 2 or more, exactly what Devin was talking about, there's so many keywords to choose from with this guy. So it's pretty solid because there is a lot of mystical and soldier teams, soldier keywords out there right now. So we are definitely going to see this guy, and it's solid. Penetrating psychic blast. I mean, again, there it is.
Okay. So let's move on to number. Oh, and also we do have a team up card for this Forge.
The
Um,
storm.
the Storm one, yes.
Hmm.
Which gives enhancement to one another. Okay. Right. So
That's a pretty good pairing because storm is usually a flyer to carry
Mm-hmm.
him around the whole time.
yeah, that is good pairing. And then if we take a look at the next piece is Bishop, the regular Bishop, set number 003A, comes in at 60 points. He's got running shot, pen scythe with 11 attack, 17 defense with toughness, indomitable, and outwit, and he's got 6 range, single target, uh, X-Men team ability, a bunch of keywords there. He's got a trait, absorb energy, When Bishop is targeted by a range attack, after resolutions, heal him 1 click and remove an action token from him. Another trait, when a standard friendly character with the X-Men keyword is KO'd, Bishop can use probability control until the end of your next turn. So, my initial thinking on Bishop was that he was a latte, maybe a cappuccino. In other words, maybe good for sealed. He's got running shot and pensai, which is good. 3 damage and outwit. I don't really love that he has no improved movement or improved targeting, especially with this set because there's a lot of stealth. That's the only thing I was thinking about in terms of sealed with him. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Looking at this right now, I would say latte, because my initial thing is I can't really stop looking at is not only his powers but his toughness. So a lot of things out there right now have penetrate psychic blast. He can still be outwitted. That's going to be the main thing on him. 3 damage for penetrating will actually get him off of that running shot, and then you can just do what you need to do as far as getting him out of there. He has Hellfire, which is solid. X-Men, X-Force, awesome keywords. I mean, the one thing I liked as the fact that he's targeted by a range attack, he heals 1 click. But again, a lot of players out there, and you guys know this, will read that and will be able to either hypersonic or TK someone right next to him, outwit his ability, and then just fire away at him. But yeah, I would say latte.
Devin, do you agree?
Yeah, really, I haven't paid attention to the entire set. A lot of this is me going in blind outside of what I opened. But my first take on him for sealed, at least, is outwit is very good in sealed. So if you have an actual primary attacker on your team and you want to follow up with this guy, that's when I'd use him. But I wouldn't go to him first thing. Those last 3 clicks are they're bad. I'm not gonna lie. There's just nothing going on past click. Like once you're on click 4, it's over. If toughness saves you and you're on click 3, there's a chance to heal back to outwit with the X-Men team ability, but that would be it. So yeah, consider it for sealed or casual play if you don't have any other outwit available to you. Otherwise, in constructed, I'm never going to touch this man compared to the prime that we'll go over next.
Okay,
So,
yeah, let's talk about
latte.
let's talk about let's talk about the prime because that prime is pretty good. I like this prime. Bishop prime. He's a common prime in the set. Running shot with 8 speed, 17 defense with energy shield, deflection, and toughness. 3 damage with outwit. He's got 2 traits. Phasing teleport once per game when he uses it. After resolutions, you may generate a shard bystander, and we'll take a look at that in a second. And then another trait, fixing the timeline. When Bishop attacks 1 or more characters with the past and or future keywords, or that can use probability control, modify attack +2 and damage +1, which is a neat little bonus. But then if we look at shard, the bystander that he drops, she has 8 movement with running shot, 10 attack with precision strike, 17 defense, and 3 damage, which is nothing to scoff at. And then she also has the trait absorb the ambient light. Opposing characters can only attack characters within 5 squares of themselves. And at the resolution of any action, if no friendly character named Bishop is on the map, KO shard. Devin, what do you think about Bishop Prime?
Well, compared to the common we just looked at, there's almost infinite potential for this guy in the main set alone. You protect your entire team until they deal with that bystander from being shot from long distance. That has potential in constructed or even meta play in a way. Depends on. I'm not sure what figures have the mechanic remaining in standard rate, or not standard, modern right now. Wrong game. But there's often the mechanic where, like, if an opposing character moves within so many squares of you, you actually have to stop. That's a good pairing with this bishop here, so that not only do they have to stop when they move next to you because of this bystander, they can't just stand back and shoot at you. They actually have to move within a given range. And for 40 points, what you're getting is a lot better than the common we just looked at. The only difference is the lack of willpower through Indom the whole dial, but he has a whole dial of support powers ending with even range combat expert to help you out if he's still alive at that point. The bystander's great. I think for the most part you're going to just phasing teleport in your starting area, leave that bystander where it is. You're not going to move her out ever, just because it's too much of a risk. You lose the greatest benefit, which is not being shot at from far away. But on his own, he has a whole lot going on. Definitely, if you get this guy, don't feel bad. You got a common prime. You got one of the better ones of the past year. So,
Yeah.
me, Americano to Espresso, depending on your how much you like Bishop.
And
Yeah, I
you
would
Dave, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I would definitely call this Americana or even Espresso, because a lot of people out there do like the X-Men keyword. They want to build a really solid team, whether it's for any competitive event. Not only does he have like the mobility, exactly what I was talking about. He has mobility. He has 11 attack, 3 damage, and 19 from range. That is pretty solid. And when he attacks one or more characters, which they probably going to have the past and or future keywords, he can over that can use probability control, modify attack by +2 and damage by +1. That is one of the most awesome things I've seen, because a lot of figures, like we talked about, do have probability control. They're gonna get it somehow, so they're gonna have it. So you're gonna definitely have this guy attack someone with probability control. That way he gets the +2 and then +1 damage. So yeah, I would say if you're looking for X-Men keyword, this is going to be Espresso. If you're looking for any type of future keywords, or you can just throw them on a team, because 40 points will get you a lot. Real quick, guys, I'm actually on my computer. Okay, I'm not spacing out in the world. It kind of seems like I'm spacing out. No. So yes, I would call this 100% Americano and Espresso.
Great, great. Yeah, I totally agree. I think Americano or maybe even espresso for him, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Wolverine, set number 4, 004. Um, so, I mean, we can see what he has. He's 60 points. You guys can see it on the screen there. He's got charge, flurry, some precision strike, some exploit weakness. He's got the mutant CIA trait. What do you guys think of this piece? Dave, what do you think about Wolverine, the common
It's
Wolverine?
a fresh new look on Wolverine. I love it. For me, I absolutely love this piece because that CIA trait, as well as charge and flurry for 11 attack, precision strike. So hey, you have super senses. You still got to roll a 6. And if you get him right close, 20 defense. He does have the exploit weakness. This is one, if not the most solid pieces at 60 points. Now, I hope you guys aren't gonna. None of you viewers are gonna laugh, but I would definitely call this piece espresso, because there is so much to actually gain from this Wolverine. There's so much to give to this Wolverine, and just having the X-Men, X-Force, and the animal keyword is outstanding.
What do you think, Devin?
Uh, I agree. He's like a go-to Wolverine going forward. You'll see it again in a lot of this set where because team up abilities are designed to have the rules text for the team up cards on the front of the page when you're looking at the figure, half of the powers right are going to be eaten up by how the team up abilities work. So for the rest of the figure design, they have to keep it short and simple, which is you'll see both good and bad depending on the figure. Wolverine did an excellent job on, because he has basically stealth, ignores the terrain, right, and then charge and flurry. Very iconic Wolverine powers. You don't need much else extra. And then on top of the solid dial and a lot of damage potential, you have, depending on the team up ability, all these different combinations you can work with this specific Wolverine. So we ran into like similar situations with Justice League Unlimited. Unfortunately, some of those was like the exact opposite, where like the powers were simple, but the stats and numbers were still kind of iffy on some of them. But this Wolverine's really solid, so I would agree. If you want to play Wolverine on your X-Men team, um, Americano or Espresso.
Yeah. I was originally giving him a cappuccino, but I mean, I definitely see both of your points about him. I think he's really great, and I brought up on the screen there. I brought up his team up card, his team up with Colossus, which is just
Oh
really
yeah.
cool. I think he's a fun, definitely an awesome, like awesome stats. I don't. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "What? He doesn't have Blaze Claw's Fangs on his first click," but I don't. I don't think that matters at all because he's dealing 3 damage with Flurry, so that's great, and Exploit.
Yeah.
So,
Pair that
like,
up with Forge, then your flurry. You don't need blades.
yeah.
Your flurry hurts for a whole lot.
So I think this Wolverine's really good. Yeah, I mean, I would probably put it as Americano. And yeah, if you're playing an X-Men dedicated X-Men team, then maybe even Espresso. Yeah. Let's take a look at Oh, and I mean that Colossus team up is just awesome. Listed
It's
friendly
so good.
characters can use telekinesis, but only to place an adjacent Wolverine. Um,
Mhm.
when the listed friendly character uses it after resolutions, Wolverine may use charge at no cost. So I mean, not to mention he has charge already, so he
Yeah.
can
So
basically
if you want to
basically
make
go
4 attacks, yeah,
you can make 4 attacks. You can go all the way across the map if you want with him because you don't have to charge with the target. So he can charge with no target and then charge again, and you can go pretty. You can just chuck him.
and that works with any Colossus, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah. So that's really good. Um, let's take a look at Psylocke 005. She's got stealth, sidestep, and flying passenger 0, incap, and mind control. Once per turn, when Psylocke uses either and hits, after resolutions, she can use the other one at no cost. She's got some rollouts with super senses and shape change. I think that this Psylocke, this is the common Psylocke. I think she's maybe a latte, maybe a cappuccino. I mean, in cap for free is always good, and I mean, and she's got the side step and the rollouts. So I think she's definitely a fun piece. I don't know if she's like totally meta or anything like that, but I think she'll definitely be usable. What do you think, Devon?
Uh, Possibly meta, depending if there's an errata or not, because there's an infinite turn possible by mind controlling for free over and over and over.
I thought
If
that
you
was with
have
the
the
other.
mind gem,
Wasn't that with the other Psylocke or
this is
um
the
this
mind
is
control at no cost one, right? Yeah, this was maybe this one, right?
um well
Those once per turn.
yeah, I think
Oh,
you're
maybe
thinking
they
of
fixed it
I
already.
think you're thinking of the other Psylocke because there's actually another one. But yeah, the other one I totally agree with you. Um,
Oh yeah, with the close attack. All right, yeah, I
I
forgot
don't know
there's
what
two.
I don't know what
Okay,
rarity she's at though.
I'm looking at the wrong one then. Okay, that's probably an uncommon.
But yeah,
This
the
one, eh, maybe cappuccino, depending if you need a taxi.
what about you, Dave?
Although, oh,
Man, yeah, I would agree. Cappuccino, casual sealed. If you get her and you want to pull her, I recommend it. Having a in cap or my control, and then once per turn, just basically use that after resolutions no at no cost. It's pretty solid. She's shape changed with super senses, so it's gonna be a lot of rollouts against her. But yes, 100% it's gonna be a cappuccino. Maybe I would say light latte, but more cappuccino.
Okay, yeah, like a latte with a lot of milk in it. Yeah, a light
There you
latte.
go.
um, I'm sure the viewers at home are loving the coffee references.
yeah, right.
So let's see. Let's take a look at Cipher. Um, Cipher is set number 006. He also has a team up card with the X Force theme team, and I actually had a oh yeah, so that's Cipher. He's got sidestep, TK, perplex, 9 attack, but that's okay. He's got I don't think he's meant to be an attacker or anything. He's only got 1 damage. He's got a defense power that says barrier toughness. When Cipher uses barrier after resolutions, you may knock back any number of opposing characters adjacent to his barrier markers 2 squares each. What's really cool about him also is he's got improved targeting through hindering and through characters. Um, and I've been noticing a lot of pieces in this set have improved targeting, um, and improved targeting characters even. Um, Devin, what do you think about this cipher?
If you're building just from House of X and you need a perplex, he's your again. You'll want to use him just for the being low point, having TK to get your stuff into position, and then barriers just icing on top for extra defenses on him because you can knock back people as you wish. So, um, yeah, he'll be primarily using TK and perplex. Use sidestep as your free action to get him in position where you want him. That's about it.
And what about you, Dave?
This man, when I saw this piece, I immediately, well, I didn't immediately name this one, but Espresso. Reason being, 35 points, telekinesis, you get perplex, and you get barrier, which you can knock back someone 2 squares. For me, that's solid right there. Bottom bottom line, that's amazing. I absolutely love this piece. It's only 3 clicks long, but there's so much to have with this guy. You can choose a lot. Definitely, yeah. I would say espresso.
Yeah, I put him at an Americano, but I totally agree with you. I think he's very good. I mean, here's the thing. I think X-Men is going to become a keyword that is used in the meta. I mean, more because I mean there's so much of it around now, especially with X-Men the animated series also was a great set that has I mean you've got Dark Phoenix, you've got a lot of pieces that are X-Men. Um, I mean, now this set, has a new added dose of X-Men keyworded figures. So I mean, if you're like Devin said, if you're playing X-Men, he's going to be really good because he has the barrier, he's got the TK, he's got the perplex, and he's only 35 points. Plus, he can sidestep around, and he can. I don't know. Can you? I mean, just the improved targeting characters is really cool because can you TK use that TK and also use that barrier through characters? I mean, I guess you can, right? Because
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
so
you can see
Keep
the
in mind he has 0 range, so your barrier range is pretty small, but
oh, okay,
it's
yeah,
possible.
okay, that makes sense. Um, all right, yeah, yeah the zero range, yeah, because what's the minimum range on barriers like 4 or
Yeah.
I thought something
4
like
for
that.
barrier, 6 for TK.
Okay. Yeah, so I'd probably put him in like a cappuccino or an americano. I don't know. I mean, now
Hmm.
that if he had more range, I'd probably put him higher. But he does have a lot of support powers, so that's really good.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at um Sunspot. Okay, so this is the common Sunspot. He's 35 points. He's very vanilla in his I mean, he's got no special powers or anything like that. He's just got charge, pulse wave, combat reflexes, and leadership. He's a flyer. He's got six range. Um, I think he's pretty bad. I would put him at herbal tea. um,
what
yeah,
what can I say with this piece? Charge, pulse wave. Um, that's it for me on that one.
Yeah.
Leadership, 35 points. Ah, man, you can still use them in sealed, but it's flatline for me a little bit. This is a little bit as much as a latte, as much as herbal tea.
yeah.
So that's a latte mixed into an herbal tea because this is just a mess, a little bit.
I mean, I get that they're giving you options to do different things on this piece, and he's only 35 points. So, I mean, if you get him in sealed, he might be useful. You know.
Yeah, he does it with the X-Men keyword in sealed for 35 points. He's your taxi and leadership machine, and then that's all you use him for. I mean, in emergency, he's a backup pulse wave, but that's really it. Constructed, he's not good unless we're very limited on new mutants for some reason, and like we don't have very much leadership on the other New Mutants, but it's very dependent on whatever the team ups will be with him.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So there's Roberto da Costa, number one, the Sunspot common. Let's take a look at Sage. 40 point. No, no. Yeah, 40-point Sage from set number 008. You know, I know her fast forces is pretty good. But I mean, I haven't really taken the time to look at this one. She's got sidestep, TK, super senses, and a damage power that that has leadership and outwit, and she's got the mutant CIA trait. Um, I mean, this Sage, I would put her at a latte. I think. I mean, she's good because she's got the stealth and the outwit, but I mean, I don't know. I think she'll be good in maybe cappuccino because I think she'll be good in sealed. Um, if you have 40 points on your that you need to put on your team and you need outwit, that's the only thing that I would use her for.
I'd agree. If you're choosing, if you need an outwit, which you usually do on a sealed team, it's good that she's a common. That's about all you get from her. Also, leadership with X-Men keyword, grab tokens off of people.
Yep. Cappuccino, latte. Yep. I
Yep.
agree, 100%. You guys hit a nail on that one. Pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at Beast 009. He has improved movement elevated and also improved movement hindering because of the mutant CIA trait. And other than that, he's pretty no frills. He has charge, toughness, and 3 damage with leadership and 11 attack with no attack power. So he's 50 points. He's got the Scientist, X-Force, and X-Men keywords. What do you guys think on Beast?
I think he's good. Did you want to talk about the team up card first?
Oh,
That he has?
does he? Yeah, he does have a team up card, doesn't he?
They got one listed.
It's not. Oh yeah, it is listed. Yes. Okay, so his team up card gives the defender's keyword and the defender's team ability this game when establishing theme teams. But you know what? I actually heard, and I wasn't sure about this ruling, because I saw people posting this on Facebook and stuff, that when it says when establishing theme teams, the listed characters gain that keyword, but then after revealing forces, that's when the team up cards come into play, or something where
Yeah, we had the similar problem happen with the Martian Manhunter team up card, and they ended up having to change the ruling or the wording on the forum. So they'll
Okay.
probably do the same here, where it'll actually, because the intention, right, is you get the theme team by giving them the keywords. They just chose the wording actually matches up with Martian Manhunter, and they did have to redo it online.
Okay.
So I'd expect that's what's going to happen again.
So I mean, you guys like this figure?
It's good in casual, sealed if you actually get it. Again, we're talking about X-Men. Yes, Scientist is pretty solid for casual. You want to play a nice Scientist team? This is pretty good. 50 points. It's a little heavy. You don't get any type of special attack. Yeah, the CIA is pretty good. No willpower and just 18 defense is still one thing not to sleep on, though. It really isn't anything to sleep on because you possibly can perplex it, but I don't know. It's just if you have 50 points and you want to try to have this guy at charge, house. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, the vanilla take on him with no team up card. If you like Beast, he'll do the job. He'll charge and punch. That's all he has going on. My interest in him relies heavily on what the rest of the team ups do for him. Defenders one is nice enough if you want to play Defenders, but that is card number 1. And if it's like Justice League, there might be like 9 or 10 of these sitting out there. Who knows?
Right.
So it just depends what they do.
Okay. Let's take a look at Havoc. Havoc has He's 50 points. He's a little point heavy in my opinion. He's 50 points with running shot, 10 attack, 17 defense with toughness, 3 damage, and he's got a trait leadership once per turn. When a friendly character named Cyclops hits, modify Havoc's combat values +1 this turn. Modifying all combat values is really good, but I mean it's contingent on having Cyclops on your team and having him hit. But I mean he does have a really good team up card. The I mean if you can get that many characters on your team, you get an action total of +1, and plus he has leadership, so that's really an action total of plus. You know, you would start with 5 actions on a 300-point team. So I think that's pretty cool. What do you think, Dave?
Let's just call it as just Spider-Man 1776. That action total +1. It hurts a little bit. But altogether, I think this guy, he has willpower. He has running shot. He has no mobility. If he gets over to a second and third click, he's going to have pulse wave. 3 damage throughout his dial. I think it's somewhat solid because it's 50 points. I would kind of want it maybe a 4, at least to trickle in there. But all around, this is going to be one of those casuals sealed as far as any X-Men or Starjammers. Because I would definitely want to see someone try to run a Starjammer team or even a casual team as well.
Okay. What do you think, Devon?
Pretty much the same. I really wish Click 1 had at least some kind of support power, just 1 click of it. Otherwise, it's just a pretty run and shoot character. The sweet spot will be Click 2 and 3, teamed with a Cyclops. Cyclops will hit you, follow up with a big pulse wave. That's really all he does right now for me. And again, we the one team up we have, it will be nice for those 1776 matchups. Again, interest will depend on what the other ones do. Because that Click 1, not a fan. So,
okay.
Cappuccino.
Yeah, cappuccino or maybe a latte for me. I don't know. He's not really doing it for me. I know you can push him to that second click, but I mean, 10 attack down to a 9. I don't know. It's kind of weak for me. I don't know, but I mean, I get it. I get it. And I do like the team up. All right, let's take a look at Polaris. Polaris is 8 speed, running shot, 10 attack with energy explosion and knockback, 6 range, 17 defense with ESD, 3 damage with nothing, and then a trait. Once per turn, when an opposing character is placed, after resolutions, you may place that character up to 2 squares away from their current square, almost like Mr. Oz, kind of. I mean, I think that this Polaris. I don't know. I don't think that Mr. Oz type of an effect is really good enough for her stats at her point level. I don't know. I don't really like her that much. Dave, what do you think?
Oh man. All right. And I don't know. For me, looking at this piece, you have running shot. She can fly. She has a special ability where she can knock back with energy explosion. The only thing that's going to be a little bit of a hit on me is going to be a no 11 attack and no willpower, because you do get Havoc that has willpower. But I don't know. I would honestly, because of that 2 squares away, that can be pretty solid though. Just be careful with certain pieces out there named Venom Groot and Valeria. But I would say this is cappuccino with a sprinkle of Americano.
Really?
Depending
Okay.
on what you are looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Devon?
Because Forge is out there too.
Yeah, paired with Forge, it might work. You really have the one trick of like if you on a map with elevated or some walls, you could do a cheeky energy explode on a group of clustered and then knock them into stuff. So really, again, not knowing the team ups is kind of
Yeah.
hard right now. So Vanilla Polaris for me is like a latte. I might pick her up later. That may change based on what she teams up with, but and what those cards do. But for right now, yeah, the one energy explode trick is all she has going on.
Yeah, she might be good in sealed because there's so much TK in this set too. There's a lot of
A lot
TK.
of tiny characters too.
Yeah, so she might be able to, move people around, with that like my father's legacy trait that she has.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, let's take a look at Domino at 60 points. Um, okay, right away, I really like this piece. I think she is a solid cappuccino for sealed and for fun play and for just casual play. I think she's really good. She's got running shot, 11 attack. With that, she's kind of like a multi-tool. She can pick powers, and she has um, prob, which is great. She's only 60 points. So I think she's good. I think she's a good piece. Devin, what do you think?
I completely agree. Compared to the Polaris we just saw, I think, in my opinion, you have a better energy explode piece because of the prob and the option to get triple target in cap when you need it or penetrating psychic blast. It's actually pretty good. It's really good common. So for me, oh, I lost my note. No. Cappuccino or higher, depending on team up again.
And Dave?
Domino, you did it again. It's actually pretty good. Now we finally get a pick of power, a nice little pick of power like this, which is like pretty solid because you either get energy explosion, penetrating psychic blast, but again, what Devin was talking about, just depending on what you are going to be, teaming up her with, because probability control is nice, but again, oh man, no willpower. Still for me, no willpower. But hey, she has 11 attack, so there it is. 60 points, 11 attack, pretty solid, but casual, sealed. You pulled her, definitely need her to use her. Um, I would like to see teams first before it actually goes up to the meta, the tier 1 or tier 2 for that. But yes, she's definitely tier 3. Cappuccino, sorry.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the next one. Um, so after Domino, we have Shard. Shard set number 013. So she's a common. She's got facing teleport, in cap, super senses, and enhancement. She's got some really good keywords: police, robot, X-Men, X-Force, future. Um, when she's targeted by a range attack after resolutions, choose one, heal one, click, or she can use range combat expert until the end of her until the end of your next turn, and she has ESD. So I mean, what I think about this shard is that she's got great keywords. She's got the PD team ability and the X-Men team ability, which are very good. And that ESD and the super senses feed into her trait. So you're likely to miss her. And then it says when she's targeted. It doesn't say when she's hit. It's as long as
Right.
you can still target her, and she'll still get that ability to use RCE the next turn, which is really good. So I think she's a cappuccino. I think she's good in sealed, and she's going to be a really fun piece to play. Dave, what about you?
After pretty much everything there, enhancement is there. Willpower, I mean, that shard by range attack, yes. I think the only thing for me that just goes with shard is energy of shield deflection. I see an enhancement at 45 points. Uh, man, I gonna actually lower her down a little bit to a latte, maybe a cappuccino, just depending on what you are looking at as far as um, theme team wise, because of the police team ability as well too.
Devon?
I pretty much agree. If she had some kind of more mobility than her current kit, maybe. Whereas of right now, if I'm ever playing against this shard, I'm simply not going to shoot. I'll just base her. Even if I have a shooting piece, I will simply take that ranged attacker and base shard with it for punches instead. So
Okay.
I'd rather not have to deal with it. That's I don't know what she does against that other than having to phase away and then watch the opponent just move adjacent to them again. Like
Okay.
it's like
Yeah,
it'll
that
be the
makes
whole
sense.
game.
Um, After Shard, we have Trinary. I absolutely love this Trinary. I think she is Americano, probably maybe an espresso, because keyword manipulation is really good, and she can take a robot keyword. Well, no, choose a friendly character with a robot keyword of 50 points or less. That character doesn't count against theme teams, so you can put her on an X-Men or an Excalibur or a Spy theme team. You could put a robot on there for, and it will still be a theme team, and that works really good with like Tri Sentinel, and it works good with Isaac,
Mm.
especially the Tri Sentinel because her next ability is Outwit. When Trinary uses it, they may count range and line of fire from a friendly character with the robot keyword, and Tri Sentinel's got that 9 range colossal, um, so you can outwit from the Tri Sentinel, which is kind of cool. Dave.
Yeah.
Sorry, I smile on my face after seeing this thing right here. This tier 1, most definitely, 30 points. I'm just gonna say this right now, 50 points or less. Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto.
There it is. Danger Room Magneto doesn't count against team teams, and you can still build an X-Men team at 30 points. The Trinary is still 11 attack, 2 damage, and now you get to TK, get an Exo Specs, move Magneto all the way out, and then now to TK up, she can use Outwit, count range line of fire from Magneto now. So now you TK up Magneto, and then you use Trinary to outwit someone. Then you can pulse. Then you can hit again. So you can
Yeah.
outwit someone from a distance away, maybe 6 scores away. So you can take away their probability control, and then pulse wave. Now they can't. I mean, mind you, it's only going to be useful if you want to take away that person outside the pulse wave range. That way they can't prob you. So, man, this is just a lot. I love it. I gotta say, 100%. Thanks, WizKids, for that one. This is awesome.
Devin, you agree?
I agree. Just options. That was simply one of countless 50 point or less robot options you can play with this piece. It's just one. It's not tied to a single robot. So just that alone puts it way up there as just all you can have so many different types of teams and games with this piece. It's just going to be a ton of fun once you get it. And it's a common, so that makes it available to near everyone. I'm
All right,
actually
let's.
curious. I forgot what the you could even you could pair it even with the Sabertooth robot. I was wondering, do you
Yes.
finally have a good combination with that charge too? Yeah, sweet. So yeah, way up there for me. I'm going espresso just because I like it that much.
Yeah. And then Sinister Clone. He's got Stealth, Perplex, Shape Change. I think he's going to be good in Sealed or Casual because he's a cheap Perplex, and those are always useful. But other than that, not really. But he's pretty good, for Sealed. I mean, Scientist teams he'll be good on. But I think there might be other cheaper ways of getting Perplex on a Scientist team. I'm not sure.
One thing I forgot, because I opened one, I forgot to look at that. It has the Battle World Other keyword.
Oh,
So you have some additions for that. There's throwback to the Secret Wars Battle World set in that way. Otherwise, yeah, he's in sealed. If you don't have a different perplex, use him. Use a perplex. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at Dr. Alia Gregor. 20 points. This one's interesting. Leadership and friendly bystanders within 5 squares modify their combat values +1. So if you're playing bystanders, then yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. Mary
I
Jane.
pair it. Mhm.
oh, Mary Jane,
Not.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's of some use because we'll see a mechanic in the starting in uncommons where we start reviving X-Men, and your opponent gets a bystander. So there is use for her in just House of X, but constructed, she's primarily for those really good bystander generation pieces. So like Mary Jane, like you said, you can throw back to the Iron Avengers from
Yep.
Earth X. Yeah, took me a
Hmm.
bit. Just even Golden Age, like the Big Red Dinosaur. Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I lost it. Lost it, but completely. But yeah,
Oh,
any bystander
Devil
maker would be
Dinosaur,
great.
yeah.
Devil Dinosaur. Yep.
But
There we
then
go.
there's also
Oh man.
Isaac too gets really good from this.
Yeah.
Oh
Stellarax and Chaos and all those.
yeah.
Groot
I would say this
bystanders
is
would be
more
nuts.
like this, and Sinister Clone is more like the coffee creamer to your coffee. Just adds a little bit of extra taste to it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very good. Very good.
Wow.
Um,
That's 2 for 2 now, WizKids at 25 points or less. Not bad.
Yeah.
let's take a look at Elixir. You know, I don't know what to think of Elixir. I I put cappuccino, possibly Americano, for him because I could see people building around healing and as a as like a because I mean so this is a really good healing piece. It's like it's not just your average support using piece. It's a I mean he's got support, but it's support that may be used with adjacent friendly characters, and he's got a 12 attack with support, and he's got um, that Krakoa thing where when they come back from Krakoa and revival, heal each adjacent friendly character. He's got tons of healing, so I don't know. Um, I could see him being used in competitive, maybe. I don't know if you're like building around it. I don't know.
Yeah,
What
the
do you?
one catch with him, he doesn't have the revival trait himself. He just adds to it. So you need to pair him with someone who actually has the trait, which kind of teeters on that's going to do you okay in competitive, maybe, just depending on what the other figures do. One casual mechanic you can use with him, though, is the 5 trait works well if you're reviving very small swarm teams. So you're going to cluster all your friendly low point figures attackers together, so when one dies, the others will heal up when they're right next to him, and you just overwhelm your opponent. I think he's built for that. If you just have like 2 X-Men just reviving back and forth, it could also do okay. It's just when they revive, you want to make sure they're standing next to each other.
Do you
So
think
yeah,
that Krakoan revival is going to be a mechanic that is found in the meta, or
um, possibly.
too
It
too
just
early to
again
say?
depends
Maybe.
on team. Yeah, to without knowing all the team ups, because just like Justice League, you're tied to using the figures from House of X for the most part. So it'll really depend on, okay, are these commons and rares better than average, and also is it a good team up a card?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
we'll see once we start looking at those figures with the Krakoan Revival trait, they are higher pointed than you'd expect, but that's due to how the revival mechanic works. So I'm really torn right. I'm not sure what to expect just yet.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so basically like the mod, like the meta itself, like the atmosphere. It's for what is meta, what is not meta. It's could be anything. The main thing is that with that Krakoan revival is going to be dependent on what we see as far as any competitive online play as well too. So when you see the online play, you're like, wait a minute, I could do this and this. Oh, okay, that's when the wheels start spinning right there. So,
Okay.
but I just want to say, shout out to my coworker. His name is Joshua Foley too. So it's
Oh,
pretty cool.
Nice.
Oh, just like that too.
Next time you see him, you can say, "Hey, what's up, Elixir?" He'll
Yeah,
look at
I
you
like
really
it.
weird, like, "What are you talking about?"
Or he's an X-Men fan. He goes,
Yeah,
"All
yeah,
right."
yeah. Or his
Yeah,
parents
his
were.
parents
His
were really
parents were
big
super
X-Men
fans.
fans.
Yeah, yeah.
Corsair. Let's look at Corsair. He's a common. Um, Pirate, Soldier, and Starjammers keywords. So this is like one of the first Starjammers. Well, no, we had another Starjammer, I think. But so this one is running shot and energy explosion, ESD enhancement, improved targeting, hindering, leadership, and prob. Once per turn, you may reroll the attack roll of a friendly character with the Starjammer's keyword. That includes himself. So I mean, I think this Corsair, um, I like him because he's really efficient at using the energy explosion, running shot, energy explosion. It's hard for him to miss. You know, he's got basically three. He's got a prop. He can prob himself, and then he can re-roll himself. So you know, he's really efficient at energy explosion, at hitting something.
Mhm.
So I think that's good. I put him as a cappuccino. Devin, what do you
I'd
think?
agree with that. Yeah, same. My feelings are the same in this case.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. Cappuccino, mobility, energy explosion, leadership, probability control. There's just like almost pirate. Oh man, that's awesome. I just love that. Sorry, I saw that. I saw it being pirate. I'm like, oh, felt like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, hey, pirate.
So
So
now
yeah,
we're gonna move on to the uncommons. We have Cyclops, set number 019. He is the he's got the sibling rivalry trait also the same way Havoc did. He's got improved targeting out of adjacency, and he's got a special movement power, force blast, and sidestep. When Cyclops hits with a ranged attack after resolutions, all hit targets can use Battle Fury until your next turn. And he's got RCE, so he's got the and energy explosion, so you have some options there. You can either energy explode or you can use RCE, which always combos well with sidestep. Dave, what do you think about this piece?
this is going to be a Americana and a cappuccino because it is pretty solid to actually get everyone to like if they bunch up, you can just range attack them. If you do, everyone gains all the hit targets, which gains battle fury until your next turn. Until your next turn. So that's pretty solid. Once per turn, when friendly characters named Havoc hits, modified. So that's pretty. So for me, it's it's going to be dependent on what everyone was talking about as far as it being an X-Men team, a team. But yes, energy explosion is pretty good, and we get willpower on top of that. He has the force blast and sidestep. I think this is going to be a pretty solid member of an X-Men team.
Does Force Blast combo with RCE? Like if you hit somebody with RCE,
And you generate
Yes.
knockback. Yep.
it generates
Mm-hmm.
knockback. Yeah, so that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Or just sidestep and then roll and just knock them back.
Yeah.
And then with the team up for him, we get a nice throwback to the Phoenix Five, which is cute.
I guess so. Does
Where
he
they
have?
yeah, if you have one or more of the other listed characters on CliXso Nexus, you get invulnerability, defend, and the Mystic's team ability.
Oh, okay.
So invulnerability will make him pretty good, and you only have to play one other. It looks like, so
Oh, that's
you
not
don't
bad
even
at
need all
all.
five.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's a in my opinion, a pretty decent team up because you're granting those powers to any of the other listed characters. So you may be stuck using the Cyclops, and he's fine on his own, but you're given the option for any other Colossus, Emma Frost, Magic, or Namor to gain invulnerability if they need it. Specifically, like Magic. Magic is very squishy usually, so you can grab some of those from Regenesis last year, and suddenly she can take a hit now, which is great.
Let's take a look at Marvel Girl. She's got a lot of team ups here. She's 80 points, but like you said, the Krakoan Revival trait adds some points to the character. She's got improved targeting characters, which again is just really cool in the set that so many characters have improved targeting characters. I'm wondering how that's gonna balance itself out. Um, she's got Outwit, which and she's got the TK, which she has this ability where um, if you're playing an X-Men theme team or anything like that, your X-Men keyworded guys have if they get targeted by Outwit after resolutions, roll a d6. 4 through 6 deal the opposing character that used Outwit 1 penetrating damage, which, I'm going to think really hard before I try outwitting an X-Men keyworded character if I'm going against her, because it's very big deterrent against outwit. So um, I don't know what to think about this Marvel girl. Devon, what do you think about her?
She's alone without that trait is okay, very squishy. You're paying such a high cost for giving your other X-Men characters of lower points the option to continually revive if they should KO. So you'll see this repeated on a lot of these figures that come with that same Krakoan revival trait. One interesting thing is the card for Marvel Girl will tell you to reference the Krakoan revival card, which is separate. It's not connected to her whatsoever. And those cards, for what I can tell from unboxings I've seen so far, if you get one of these figures that reference the Krakoan Revival card, you do get one in the booster pack. In some cases, I had a booster pack in my brick from WizKids where I had 2 of these figures and I got 2 of the cards. So I'm hoping that continues down the line because that would be very confusing for a new player if they didn't get the card in the pack as well. I don't see it listed on Clix Nexus, but just to give you reference of what it does, um, for if someone has this trait, in this case Marvel Girl, and you have other X-Men of lower points than Marvel Girl's 80 for her, and they are KO'd, you can your opponent scores the points, scores of the KO'd figure, scores an extra 10 points, and then your opponent also gets to generate a cool enemy bystander that you now have to fight. The catch is your figure that just died is back on click 1. Good as new, which includes like that crazy 60-point Wolverine or whatever. So you can just keep charging, flurrying the whole game. So for these characters, I'd say just keep them in the back. Marvel Girl's good for that. She's just gonna primarily telekinesis people, protect them from outwit, and then you're gonna send the people that can die up into battle so that even if they do die, who cares? They're just gonna come back and keep killing. One thing you have to watch out for is if you score 100 or more points than the build total. So if you were to score 400 points in a 300-point game, the game's done. So you do have to balance that out with how many times you're bringing back your figures, because if your opponent scores enough points, the game's just done. Like, they win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
So
interesting.
yeah, it'll be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know my take yet. I'd say cappuccino or higher. Just depends on how good this is in the long run.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how people do with the Krakoan revival mechanic and how good those teams are, or so.
Yeah, and Vulture is still around, so I mean, sure these figures can come back, but Vulture will just continue hitting. Like I don't. There's no deterrent there.
Okay, so let's see. Forge. Forge, the uncommon set number 21. Um, he is this is 30-point Forge stealth. He's got this trait that's no this damage power that's kind of like empower enhancement. It's choose an attack or damage and adjacent friendly characters modify the chosen value +1 this turn. It's a free action, so it's not really like enhancement or empower, but I don't know. I mean, I think giving a +1 attack. I mean, I think for 30 points, I don't know. I think I put him at a latte. I'm not sure. Um, I mean, it's kind of cool that you can bump up stats like that, but I don't know. He seems kind of vanilla otherwise.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's gonna be latte cappuccino.
Yeah, same. I'm actually surprised that this and the common aren't swapped because this seems worse than the common,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Wolverine at 100, and at 50. I was actually thinking the exact same thing about this Wolverine too. I think the common is better than this uncommon. This is him at 100 points. This is him at 50. Um, I don't think you're getting that much better stats at 100 points for this Wolverine than you are for the 60-point Wolverine. You
Yeah.
know, like you're getting one extra damage. You're losing flurry, right? So and yeah, he's hard to kill, but still, I
Yeah.
don't know.
The one thing I see going for him is that 4 damage because oh boy, do I want to perplex that damage and have Wolverine hit for 7. I think that'd be kind of funny. That's all I would want to do with him.
But you pair it with the team up card, and now
Yeah.
he's doing penetrating damage.
Yep.
So 7 penetrating
Yeah,
damage.
like
Oh man.
you can take out a good chunk of someone's health.
Yeah. Good
For 100
cappuccino right
points.
here.
Yeah,
Here's
same.
the team up card, just in case people don't know it. It's team up Apocalypse, A. I'm gonna just call it A.
Yeah,
Cardinal, North, Rasputin, and Zorn. Um, and those, if exactly 3 listed friendly characters are on the map, um, they deal penetrating damage when attacking. Um, but you know he has exploit weakness, so usually when he's attacking, he's dealing penetrating damage anyway.
yeah.
Um,
It's really you're giving that benefit to the other characters, but the apocalypses I've seen have had like psychic blast, so that's kind of the same thing. So it's all right.
okay, let's take a look at Psylocke. Okay, so this is the Psylocke.
Th- yes.
This is
Yep.
the one. And Devin, I'll let you explain the
Okay.
combo. The combo.
I had to look it up. So her second trait is Blade Skull's Fangs, and when she hits with a close attack, she can use afterwards. She can use mind control at no cost. It's important to note that at no cost works like Vulture's at no cost attacks. You can just keep going and going and going as long as you've met that criteria. So she doesn't have mind control on her own. She can only, if you're only playing just the figure, you can only trigger that mind control by hitting with a close attack. There's equipment in the Mind Gem from the Black Panther Illuminati set that grants a character mind control. So if she, with mind control, you can do a close attack mind control on someone. The Jean Grey Chase figure from X-Men the Animated Series last year allows your friendly figures to mind control her. Instead, usually mind control you have to target an opposing character. Jean Grey lets you target her. So you give the Psylocke the Mind Gem. You put her next to the Jean Grey. Psylocke here punches at Jean Grey for a mind control because that's allowed because of the Jean Grey and hits. Afterwards, after you move Jean Grey, do whatever you want with Jean Grey. Psylocke gets to punch with mind control Jean Grey again, and as long as you keep hitting landing that attack, you just keep going and going the whole turn.
Yeah, and I think
No limit.
if you roll above a 10, also you
Yeah.
get an additional mind control that adds to the stack because of the time gem.
Yep.
Not the time gem, the mind gem. Yeah.
So your really only downside is missing that attack. So you pair those two together, you throw in a ton of perplex, so you'd only fail on like a crit miss, and then you go wild. It's one of those figures. I assume this may get an errata before release. I don't know yet, but that's how it works. Now you know. There's an infinite.
So okay,
Yay,
so
Heroclix.
Hey, Adam Friedman, if you're watching this, probably are going to now. Please break this.
Yeah. And only 50 points too.
Yeah, only 50 points, and that Jean Grey's only 75, and then 10
Yeah,
points.
you have
for the
half a
mind gem.
team left. Yeah, you have basically half a team left to do whatever else you want.
Yep. Espresso.
Yeah.
Different espresso. And she's got a team up card too. I mean, on top of that.
Mhm.
So, Let's take a look at Doug Locke. Doug Locke, I had him as a latte. He's interesting, like interesting dial, I guess. Um, when he uses shape change and succeeds, you may choose a standard power that attacker can use, and Doug Locke can use that power this game. But I would just ignore him if I was playing against him. You know,
Yeah.
like that's what I think.
The only thing I can think of with him is in Golden Age because his shape change trait and his replication trait are separate. So the choosing opponent's powers works off of any source of shape change. So if you throw the old Mighty Thor mirror on him, where you get a shape change on 3 through 6? 2 through
Three,
6?
three through six.
Three
Yeah.
through six.
Yeah, 3
Mhm.
through 6, yeah. You have a better chance to land it in steel powers. That's all he has. I agree,
Yeah.
it's latte.
It's because
That's the only
it's
trick.
worded that way.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I would say for me, man, I kind of wanna see how this actually plans out. I would name it cappuccino and latte together, just depending on what type of team you want to use. As far as not saying sealed, um, I would say more casual on this one. Casual. Um, I would definitely would want to see this guy play.
Oh yeah, he would be a
Just
fun
to
on
at
a
least get
robot
that
team.
shape change roll out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a decent enough taxi. He has a lot of life. That's just unless because he's dependent on what powers your opponents has. There's not much to say about him because
Yeah.
the games will be different each time.
Mm-hmm.
He does have some team ups too,
Hmm.
but yeah, I don't think they don't look that
It
great.
looks like they're both dependent on what your opponent is playing, which
Yeah.
is weird. One's is if he's attacking only characters that can use perplex, your opponent gets -2 defense on that attack. And then another one is if your opponent is playing Hellfire Club or monsters and they attack him, they get an action token. So again, just like his normal powers, it depends. These team ups could either be good or completely useless depending on what your opponent is playing.
So
God
now,
forbid your opponent has Battle Fury, and now Douglock, you can't even do anything with Douglock. He just dies.
oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at Sunspot. This is the uncommon Sunspot. Puts out a lot of damage. He's running shot Pensai with 4 damage. Leadership, and he can take tokens off of people. Oh, no, he can heal people when they are given a second action token. He can heal them. He has leadership. I think he's pretty good in sealed. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
4
agree,
damage is pretty
100%.
scary.
Yeah.
In this set,
Yes.
especially.
And also his
Cappuccino and above.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's also got the 35-point line, so that's pretty good too. Tessa has perplex, and improved targeting hindering. And when she uses her perplex, she has the jumpstart mutant abilities trait where she can instead modify all their combat values +1. And if you do, that character gains protected outwit until your next turn, and at the end of the turn takes an unavoidable damage. Plus, she's got outwit, so she's got the perplex, she's got the outwit. I don't like the fact that she's not very mobile, so you have to kind of move her into place in order to get the most out of her. But I mean, I would make her a latte. I think for me.
I agree. For me, I honestly would agree because just hurts so much that she super scrolls the guy. So the guy gets to get the power, the +1s, and then she gets smacked for one unavoidable damage. That hurts. For me, taking a click in Heroclix as far as any competitive play, you don't want to do. Because it gives your opponent that extra advantage of that one extra click over. So she's nice. That perplex is cool for +1s on certain situations, but at 65 points, there is a lot out there to choose from instead of her. Sorry.
Yeah. The only real like combo is if you specifically are playing some kind of X-Men figure that you don't want to be on Click One with. Cyclops' brother that we just looked at, and his name is Havoc. I didn't scroll up. Haha. I know who Havoc is, of course. You'd want to be on Click Two, so that's a good pairing there. Otherwise, there's A, better Perplex, and B, better Outwit, even in the main set. It's really only there if you want to do that trick where you want to get off of Click One. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend using that Perplex unless you really need it. Granted, she did. Even if you're targeting another X-Men person, you don't have to do the damaging Perplex. You can just still do normal. So there's that. So for sealed, still good because you get Outwit and Perplex. But for anything else, there's better.
Agreed. I totally agreed. Let's take a look at Emma Frost. This is another one of those Krakoan Revival headmasters or Quiet Council members. I think she's 90 points. She's a lot of points, but it remains to be seen whether or not she'll be good with that. How that mechanic will play out. So she does have a team up card where she gives Hellfire Club theme team members the X-Men keyword. So that has potential. Although I think a lot of Hellfire Club already have the X-Men keyword, don't they? Or I'm not sure actually about that. No, I mean the keyword manipulation seems like a fun element of the team ups. So I put her as a cappuccino.
This is the one that I think might have meta potential because of the 1 damage from Vulture. So not only can you bring your X-Men back, after Vulture hits for the first time and damages some X-Men person on your team, it could be her, could be another X-Men. After that first attack, he's only dealing 1 damage at a time. So that's not even after. Is it after resolutions? Friendly characters within 4 squares of the X-Men who have taken damage this turn. No, even his first flurry. The first attack of his flurry will hit for his crazy high perplexed value. But if he doesn't KO a thing, he's just doing 1 damage after that. So this, if Krakoa Revival becomes a thing, I think this would be it from the ones I've seen so far. Just for that, being able to avoid Vulture for now.
That's interesting. Yep. Okay, yeah. So that's actually a really good trait. So yeah. So if they're within 4 of her, it doesn't have to be within line of fire either. Just within 4. And
so you just have, if you have an X-Men who can taxi multiple people, maybe.
Yeah,
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Like Gateway or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's almost like a throwback to her, to Emma Frost, where she almost does the Indigo Battery to everybody around. So yeah, there's a strong, like you said, Devon was saying, there's strong potential on this one. 90 points is a lot, but man, strong potential though.
It just depends how many low point X-Men you can throw all on the same team. Now, granted, like that's any X-Men figure though. So we have X-Men Animated Series, Regenesis, other X-Men that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Hellfire. Hellfire theme team, and now everyone gains keywords. The X-Men keyword. I mean, yeah, there's a lot here. This is pretty good. Ruler. There it is. Ruler keyword.
Ruler. Mm-hmm.
Is Jason Wingard lower points than her?
Yep. Yeah, Jason Wingard, 75 points. And he's Hellfire. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And when Jason Wingard, if he's revived from the Krakoan Revival trait, can he then redo his bystander thing that he does? Like, can he?
I'm not sure offhand. I might need to clarify if like figures need to have the actual X-Men keyword on their card or not to be revived. I'm not sure.
Oh, right.
I think the card says for all characters with a trait, when a friendly character with the X-Men keyword and a lower point value would be KO'd.
Yep, there it is.
I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'm not sure if he needs it or not. So he might not be able to be revived depending on wording.
Yeah,
but
because
you could still have other X-Men do it.
not or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Jason.
Still
Chamber.
though.
Chamber, uncommon chamber, 35 points. Um, can't attack unless a friendly character was attacked since your last turn, or he is the only character on your force. And he's got shape change. Um, and he kind of blows up when he's KO'd by an opponent's attack for 3 damage penetrating. No, sorry,
No, 1 damage within 3 squares.
One
yeah.
damage within 3
Not
squares.
as good.
Not as good, but I don't know. I don't really like him because he can't attack unless it's situational whether he attacks or not. So I mean I would put him as a latte.
Yep.
I
agree.
really like blow up powers. I've played multiple teams with that.
I know, yeah.
He's not good enough to be on one of those teams, unfortunately. If he was like 1 or 2 clicks of life and maybe 20 points, you could just swarm people with this dude. It'd be tons of fun. But on his own, he's just not going to do too much, unfortunately. Just because he can't attack, so he's just going to be your tie-up poison piece. 35 feels like a lot of points for that, and they'll just ignore him until the explosion won't matter later on. If you had like Outwit maybe instead of Enhancement, just to combo with the poison maybe, would be better. But yeah,
Your
That's
team
weird.
wants to avoid her.
yeah,
Your team wants to avoid him because it says on this one, deal 1 penetration to each character within 3 squares. So leave him over there and then just start pinging him away.
yeah.
You're like, cool. Everyone takes 1, and then
Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
follow my.
I really wish he was just like a 1 click of life character, so you could send a swarm of like 8 of them, and then one dies, and it just cause all the others to blow up too.
Jokers.
Yeah. But nope, not gonna happen that way, unfortunately.
So let's take a look at Zorn, not the prime yet, the uncommon Zorn. Um, for me, I think I like actually both of the Zorns a lot. I like this one too. At 30 points, I like this Zorn because he's just a good tie-up piece for 30 points. I think he's good in sealed and in casual play because he's got plasticity and knockback. But when he knocks somebody back, he knocks them towards him instead of away from him. So he can running shot, pulse wave, or he can just running shot, and then he can, when he hits them with the running shot, he knocks them back into him, ties them up because he's got plasticity. He's also got that defensive power where opposing characters within 4 squares in line of fire must break away as if they were adjacent to him. So he can cause a lot of tie-up problems. That's why I like this Zorn at 30 points. Devon?
Yeah, just like the WWE characters, he has the interesting knockback direction change. He does have a good range value for that. One interesting thing, if you're on a map with elevated and your opponent has decided to stand on the rim of elevated terrain to shoot at you, you can yoink them down for extra damage. That's all I'd really use this guy for. So for that, I give him Cappuccino just because that's interesting. That's extra free damage you could potentially do. That's about all I got.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, definitely 30 points. 90 points, too much for him. Casually, yes. 30 points has the potential to be espresso because of the fact that it's 30 points, he's running shot for 5 squares and pulse wave. He also has energy shield deflection. Yes, he has toughness, but opposing character within 4 squares must break away from him. So you pretty much get him towards pulse waved, and you get him within that 4 squares, which you are because it's pulse wave, and you just know how to be next to the guy. Now the guy has to break away. So if the guy wants to charge you, the guy wants to do anything, he has to break away from you. So put him right next to 4. You have 30 points of your 300 points, and now everybody else can go around because you have to break away with him first. So it's like, good luck. Yes, plasticity.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the 30 points would be super good then.
Also taking a look at Zorn Prime.
Oh,
He's a great piece too, I think. He takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks. Zorn can't be chosen for Mastermind. Free, deal to Zorn 1 damage. So you have the ability to, if you want, you can push him down to, I mean, without even pushing him, just deal him a damage. If you want to go to that second click with a 12 attack Pensai, running shot Pensai. But he's also very useful on that first click. He has 12 attack with TK, so I would like to see him TKing around some of the opposing pieces. That just seems really cool. Um, and also 19 defense with defend and support. So, 19 defend is nothing to scoff at. And he can be healed. So even though he only takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks, he can be healed, and he's got regen on his last click. So this
And the
guy,
X-Men team ability to heal that back up if you want.
yeah. So he just never dies. This guy's really good. I'd put him.
Yeah,
At,
I
I'd
like
put
him.
him.
Oh, go
I'd
ahead.
probably put him at an Americano.
I'd agree. You may like you could if you're pairing him. I think he pairs well with a colossal or giant who can carry him around to get the best use out of that 19 defend. But he serves as a good taxi just as well, phasing taxi, telekinesis. So he has plenty of options. So Americano.
yep. Yep.
Okay.
Everything you guys just said. I love this game.
Yeah.
So I just want to say one thing. I know everybody's been talking about hey, you haven't broken Vulture yet, or telling WizKids, hey, you haven't done this. There it is. Or there it is in your screen right there. WizKids is doing something about Vulture, and it's 70 points or 30 points. So you guys want the answer? It's right there. It's in the text.
You can pair him with that Emma Frost, and suddenly him. Not only will he only take 1 damage from attacks, anyone else Vulture wants to attack will also have a 19 defense. So you can tell them to deal with it.
Yeah.
The fun little trick.
Oh man. Ah.
Wait, so how does that trick work again, Devon? So you pair him with Emma Frost?
Yeah, so Emma Frost, after an X-Men takes their first click damage from an attack, consecutive attacks that turn, they only take 1 damage. So Vulture would want to avoid Zorn here, right? Because he's not going to kill him with a single flurry. But if he wants to attack other people, they have a 19 defense.
Oh, because of the
they're gonna be
defense.
next to Zorn.
Because of the defense.
Everybody
defend.
around him.
Yeah, just throw everyone around Zorn. And then even if they kill Zorn, he has lower points than Emma Frost, so he can just come back. And they got to deal with another 5 attacks they have to land, or 5 damage from separate attacks they have to do to kill him.
Yes.
The worst part about that is if you perplex. Perplex is going to be a killer next to Zorn, because Zorn would say, okay, I'm going to defend first, so you place and modify.
Yep.
So you're like, okay, cool, I'm a 19, and I actually perplex it up by 2. So
Yeah, God help us if there's some kind of team up card, but it's like every X-Men person gets +1 defense. I don't know, everybody has a 20.
man.
That could happen.
All right, so let's take a look at Moira X. Moira X is an uncommon. By the way, these are all uncommons we're talking about, and the uncommons seem to be pretty good in this set. Don't forget about Pauper, because you're going to have a lot of Pauper options for people who play Pauper. I mean, obviously not that Zorn Prime, because you can't play Primes in Pauper, but the other uncommons are pretty good. I mean, this one is no exception. Moira X. She also has that the ability to only take 1 damage from attacks. She can't be healed though, but she and she can't be chosen for Mastermind or Krakoan Revival. Moira X isn't a standard character. Okay, so but she can use the trait. She has a trait I have learned from my many lives. Moira X can use the standard powers printed on her card for lower click numbers, which count as her previous lives. So if you knock her to click 2, she can use all those powers from click 1 and on click 2. I like her. I'm actually not sure. I think she would be a cappuccino for me. Um, Pretty good. I think she's good. I mean, she's very hard to kill. So
Yeah,
Hmm,
I'd say about the same.
thing.
let's take a look at Mr. Sinister. He's got that Krakoan revival trait. I think that he has. I think he's a cappuccino as well. He's got outwit. When Mr. Sinister uses it and chooses a standard power, the target can use. He can use the chosen power until your next turn. So possible pick a power type of thing there with him. Uh, I think he's good in casual. That's why I gave him a cappuccino. I don't think you're gonna get like a Krakoan revival team that's well. You might have some elements of it in sealed, but I think he's more casual.
Yeah, I'd put him at that. I'm actually surprised he doesn't have any kind of like minion generating effect, because
Hmm.
the clones are just now completely separate from him. Like they'll pair well together because of the perplex, but that's about it. He doesn't even have the Battle World other keyword, so I'm curious what they were shooting for with the minion clones, other than being a perplex figure.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
revival's nice. You have an 85-point revival. You may not see any move and attack on Mr. Sinister, but he can always outwit a charge or running shot and take that if you really want. He's a weird one. I'm not sure what to put him at yet. Just mostly casual from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I would put him at cappuccino. More casual than anything else. I mean, we haven't seen teams yet, but man, 85 points. Either him or Emma. It's got to be Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, Emma, I guess, is the best one that we've seen at the Krakoan revivals. Let's take a look at Egg. Okay, so we got another gold balls. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and it is sidestep. He's 25 points sidestep, and he produces light objects. You can free action to generate a light object, and when a friendly character is chosen for their Krakoan revival trait, you may generate 3 light objects after resolutions in a single square adjacent to that character. So he's just a light object machine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think you.
25 points.
I don't know if you.
Golden Age, I put him up there as a go-to figure if you're playing other figures whose powers are contingent on having objects on the board. So going oldest I think of is Giant Size X-Men Magneto, who when he TKs he does extra damage. Now you have the ability to just have objects on the ready for cheap points. There's a Teen Titans Cyborg who can draw a line of fire through objects. So any of those old figures where your powers depend on you having objects on the board, their downside was like your opponent could always just get rid of those objects, and now you're out of luck. Well, now for 25 points, you just make them. That's really all he does for me. Otherwise, uh, standalone, not great. So I'd put him as like cappuccino at best, if depending if you want light objects or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I do like about him is that it's just 10 more points than Marbella, but you get barrier. You
Yeah.
get a person that can make light objects, but yeah, for me it's more casual than anything else because I would pair this guy up with Astronomer and
Mm.
another person from Golden Age because
Yeah.
Astronomer did start always just wailing away on people. But yeah, it's 25 points is still good if you say you have 25 points left over for an X-Men, you want to have a barrier there just to have that there. Yes, but everything else,
Yeah. One interesting thing with the revival is if the X-Men you're bringing back, if you are playing a bunch of figures with charge, they can all grab that light object you just made from the square they're in for an extra 1 damage. But uh, that's all. It's 25 points. Like, you can't ask for too much.
yeah, that's true. It's like that though. Some
Yeah.
mobility there.
Sidestep barrier will be good.
So let's take a look at Tempest. Tempest is an interesting one. I mean, we saw him previewed with Scott Porter when he did the unboxing. He was he has when a friendly character is chosen for the Krakoan revival trait, um, opposing characters can't use probability control until your next turn, which is interesting. I mean, I guess that's the part of the whole five traits that they have for the five. He also has improved targeting through adjacency, and he has, or is that adjacency, or is that I think out of adjacency, yeah. And then he has unstuck in time, probability control, but may use it any number of times per turn, targeting a different character each time when she uses it, except the first time this turn. After resolutions, roll a d6. One or a two, deal her one unavoidable damage and remove her from the map. If you do, at the beginning of your next turn, an opponent chooses a character on the map, place her adjacent to that character. So you can use probability control a whole lot, but every time you do, you run the risk of um, really getting into trouble with her and having her placed in a inopportune spot. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
I
fun.
wouldn't risk it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's WizKids playing around with giving people interesting powers that could be potentially pretty good, but having a big drawback. So we saw that originally with like the trader mechanic where like, hey, your figure's good, but if it dies, it's now your opponent's figure.
Yep.
So this is kind of like that. I'm not sure if she's too like if 50 points is enough to warrant the downside for that trait. I'd say if she was like maybe like Alex Wilder, like 3 or 4 clicks long and half the cost, maybe it would be a bit more worth it. But yeah, 50 feels a lot for what you're getting. But it could be fun. I put it as cappuccino if you want a prob
Hmm.
on your team.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I agree because
I agree.
it does seem like a fun piece, but I don't think it would be. I don't think I would use it even in sealed. I don't think because it's too
Yeah,
risky.
yeah. Well, you can always use that first prob. The downside triggers after the second prob. So
Right. Okay.
uh, it's still bad. Like because if you do roll that one or a two, the figure is dead basically. Just consider her dead because your opponent gets to place her wherever they want, adjacent to one of their figures. They're gonna put her next to a figure that can just one hit kill her.
Yeah.
So you just gotta watch out.
Let's take a look at Hepzibah. Hepzibah is another Starjammer. Her real name is unpronounceable. I love that. That's really cool. Um,
Mm.
and she has a movement. She has improved movement, hindering and characters. She's got charge, and when she hits, she can move up to 3 squares, which works with her improved movement characters. So she can just move 3 squares after she charges somebody. She's got blades. She's got sidestep and perplex, and she can use perplex a second time each turn if she's on a Starjammer's team, or well, not if she's perplexing a Starjammer's keyworded character. And she's got exploit too. So yeah, I mean, I think all the Starjammers in this set are pretty good, especially they're going to work
Mm.
really well with each other. So I I find that Starjammer figures interesting. I think they work well with each other, and they're going to be great fun pieces in casual.
Yeah, I feel the same for this. If you're a fan of Starjammers, you're in luck. I mean, they'll work fine. They do interesting things. It's just nothing too crazy or out there just yet.
It's a fun team.
Yeah,
it'll be a fun figure to try to run. I
yeah,
agree. But thanks guys so much
yeah.
for
It's nice
having me.
hanging
I
with you.
appreciate it. Thanks guys.
And that ends part one of today's House of X set review featuring Mr. CliXso, David Colon, and Devon Adams, otherwise known as Mr. HLH, Happy Little Heroclix, and myself, T-Lish from Coffee and Clix. You've been watching Coffee and Clix, and this is part one. You've watched part one of um, the House of X set review. Stay tuned for part 2, where we will finish the set doing the rares, super rares, and chases. So part 1 was the commons and uncommons, and part 2 will be the rares, super rares, and chases, where me and Devon from Happy Little Heroclix take a look at the rares, super rares, and chases of the House of X set that is coming out on December 30th. Enjoy.